So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. For the last couple weeks, or the last week or so, last couple weeks, we've been talking about these foundations. So we talked about movement and food and emotional health. And today I'd like to pull back the curtain and tell you guys how I pull it all together in Chapter 8, which is Fix Your Day for Success. So this is what I do in my life, what my day looks like that combines all of these things together, because it can be overwhelming thinking about, okay, how am I going to add this? How am I going to do this to my life? So let's start off with just waking up in the morning. So I wake up at 6 o'clock, my alarm goes off, which gives me 8 hours of sleep. And then I roll over and I grab my phone, which is existing about 10 feet away from me. It's actually on the floor. The mobile is off. The Wi-Fi is off. I leave it on for any sort of emergency phone calls, but it is far away from me, as far away as possible, to try to decrease the EMF exposure that might be coming from the phone. And then I also turn on what's called my beamer, which is a pulsed electromagnetic frequency device that is a bit complicated for this talk right now, but let's just say that it improves vasodilatation and improves absorption and kind of thins the blood a little bit, but allows you to, it changes the physics of the body to allow for greater healing. So that's one of the things that I like to do. But then I grab my phone and I listen to HoloSync and I meditate. And I'm going to do that for about 30 minutes. And during that meditation, I'll do gratitudes. I start off, centrally with, being grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my wife, my daughter, my family, my immediate family, my work family, my community, and kind of go out from there. And I envision, and I start expressing gratitude for all of the things that I want to achieve, all the projects that I'm working on right now. So I'm expressing gratitude. Thank you for having a great implementation of our electronic medical record, which is going to be launched tomorrow. And thank you for, filling our practice in Hirsch Center 2.0. And thank you for, the launch of the book and all these sort of things that some of them have happened, some of them haven't. But I'm just expressing gratitude to them and really feeling what it's like, what it would be like to be on the other side of things. And then as I'm meditating, as things come to me, oftentimes I will write them down and come back to them later. There's a lot of insights that I've had while meditating, which is really great. And what I really love about the HoloSync is that you don't have to be really great at meditating. You don't have to be focused on the nostrils and really paying attention, because the way the HoloSync works is that it adjusts your brainwave so that you're meditating like a Buddhist monk who's been doing it for 30 years, and you get the benefits of that. So that's the meditation component and the HoloSync. I also combine in breath walking, which is 4 breaths in through the nose, 4 breaths out through the mouth, and I combine that with incantations. And these are all things that I've learned from Tony Robbins. You can check out his CDs called The Edge, which is a 2 CD set that I highly recommend. I haven't been through all of it, but this is one of the things that I've really appreciated about it. So you breathe in 4 times, and then you breathe out 4 times through the mouth. And I start doing incantations, which are basically speaking what I want. And so I'll speak out, I love my life. I love my wife. I love my shadow, my shadow side. I love my kid. So just kind of speaking these things out into the world, and really, if I'm waking up and I feel depressed, the more that I say I love my life, the more I get into that, the more I start smiling, the more I truly believe it, the more it changes my outlook, the more I'm grateful about my day and the way it really changes my day. So that's pretty amazing. Next thing is movement. So I'll get out of bed, do some stretching. Sometimes it's jumping jacks, sometimes it's yoga. Usually it's only for a couple minutes while I'm getting myself loose. And then I go and say good morning to my family, and I jump in the shower. Fortunately, we have a whole house water filter that we got through Aquasana, so it's $300 or so to get the whole house water filter through them, and then it's about $300 to have the plumber install it. I highly recommend it. It's really great to take baths and showers without any chlorine or toxins in them. So that's great. And then we use non-toxic products in my home. So we use an Alafia African shampoo or African soap, and I use that for my whole body. So it doesn't have any fragrance, and it doesn't. I don't use a separate shampoo or conditioner or body lotion, and that seems to work really well for me. And then for breakfast, I like to have usually a meat and a vegetable, which is going to be like turkey bacon or sausage. And actually, instead of a vegetable, ideally I would have vegetable, but it happens infrequently. It's easier for me to grab some fruit at that point. And I'll have some fruit and nuts and sometimes some gluten-free granola that I'll combine in a bowl with coconut milk. And I'll take that with my pills that I've set up in like an AM, PM sort of pill container that I've filled usually over the weekend or whenever it runs out, to make it a lot easier for me. So I'm chewing every bite until it's liquid, and then I pop in a couple pills and swallow them. And so this allows me to take my pills. It allows me to consume my food slowly, improve my digestion. And then when I'm done eating, get ready for work. I take my daughter to work in my Leaf. So this is my Leaf, my electric car, which I love a lot. I wish it could go further. Right now it goes about 90 miles, about half that on the highways. But I'm hoping for one of those 200 milers in a couple of years. And so when we go to school, I like to listen to music. So this is one of the times, I love musicals. And so I'm trying to incorporate musicals more into my life where I have time. And so part of that is listening to musicals on the way to school, listening to musicals on the way to work. It's something that I really love sharing with my daughter as well, and she likes it. And so that's really enjoyable. Then when I get to school, I connect a little bit with my community, some of the other parents there, so we get a little bit of a community fix and some support there. Say goodbye to my daughter, and then head off to work. And now I've just gotten to work, so now you know where I do this in my day. And I like sharing my life with you guys on Facebook Live. It's been a lot of fun. And then I go into the office. I get settled. I forgot to mention water. So when I wake up first thing in the morning, I drink 20 ounces of water. And I do that after I meditate. And then I also will consume another 20 ounces on my way to work. So I've already got 40 ounces by this time, so about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then I may consume another 20 ounces or 10 ounces before I start seeing patients. And then around 10:30, I'll usually take some additional adrenal support. I have reminders on my phone that also pop up on my computer, so I'll stop what I'm doing, even if I'm with a patient, and say, I've got to take my stuff, and very quickly, pop it in my mouth, or I've got it next to me and I can take it. And I'm constantly drinking water while I'm with patients. I also have a standing station at the office, so I'm rarely ever sitting. I only really sit for lunch, because we know that sitting is the new smoking, so it's really important. And I'm kind of wiggling and moving around best I can while I'm standing, and being really present for my patients so that I can be a witness for them and I can support them in my best way possible using all of my gifts. And so then it's more water before lunch. So I drink another 10, 20 ounces before, about 15, 20 minutes before lunch. And then lunch is usually a big salad. We always go organic as much as possible, grass-fed, and or leftover from food from the night before. So it's usually ground up meat of some kind with vegetables that have either been steamed or cooked with it. Kale, chard, onions, garlic. Excuse me. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. And so then I consume lunch, go for a walk around the building with my staff, and then start the afternoon. And I'm taking my adrenals about every 3 hours up until 3 p.m., 4 p.m., something like that. And then trying to drink, 20 ounces as well in that time period. So I'm getting about 80 to 90 to 100 ounces of water per day. And then I go home, and when I walk in the front door, I'll do some exercise. So I will do 7-minute exercise. I got the 7-minute app on my phone, do some burpees, and I try to do this to engage my daughter. And then we'll lie down on the couch and connect with her. We'll read some Harry Potter right now. And then connect with my wife and maybe do a little bit of work, and then it's time for dinner. I'm very fortunate. My wife is really a great cook, and she's cooking a lot of what I talked about, what we eat for lunch. So it's a meat, it's a steamed veggie. Oftentimes there's other veggies that are also in with the meat. We'll have tacos sometimes. We found a great paleo tortilla that we're really enjoying called siete, which I think is, I can't remember its base, but I think it's a root vegetable base, which is really nice. And then after we eat, then my job is the dishes, so I'll do dishes, help clean up the kitchen, and then read some more to my daughter, and then I'll put her to bed, or my wife will help put her to bed. And then in the evenings, I'll be able to connect with my wife, do a little bit more work if the business requires it. But at that point, then it's, trying to decrease screen time, or make sure I've got blue light blockers on my phone, on my computer. I'm really trying to wind down and make sure that I'm getting ready for bedtime. I'm still consuming water, and I stop consuming water around 9 o'clock at night. And around 9:30 is when I start getting ready for bed. So I'll do push-ups and sit-ups and stretches. And I find that for me, like the plow pose, where you put your legs over your head, is really great for me to decrease any sort of body pain that I'll have in the morning. And then I take my evening pills, brush my teeth, get ready for bed. And then I'll be in bed around 9:45, 10:15, and I will read a pleasure book. So I try not to do any work after 9:30. Completely change my my focus to really relaxing things. There's no arguments happening, no intense discussion, and then I'll do that beamer, that pulsed electromagnetic field device before bed. Turn off all the electronics around me, push them far away, and then go to sleep and get 8 hours of sleep. So that's my day. Hopefully that gave you some ideas on some things you can do your day to incorporate mindfulness. Oh yeah, and of course, being a physician, practicing the way that I do, there's mindfulness every opportunity. Being a boss, any interaction that you have with humans gives you a lot of practice in mindfulness. Being a parent is the ultimate mindfulness practice, in addition to meditation. So, you don't have to be meditating, but it's incredibly helpful for this. You need some sort of mindfulness practice in order to really achieve the advances in your emotional health. So we talked about mindfulness, movement, water, connection. So these are all things that I'm trying to incorporate in my life. So thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more, you can check out the book on Amazon. It's called Fix Your Fatigue. Or you can come see us at the Hirsch Center for Integrative Medicine. And I'd love to hear what your guys' day looks like. If you want to share that in the comments, it would be awesome. Or things that you want to incorporate in your life that you heard from this talk today. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.